Leviathan and Fafnir, they are amazing couple actually. The dragon fathers, you can say to them. The ones that keep an eye on their children that are very close by. While on the other hand, Tiamat and Quetzalcoatl are much more of a couple themselves. The ones that actually are connected to Leviathan immediately also have a lot of connection with Fafnir, the one of the flames, the eternal fire, and also the eternity of Leviathan. Leviathan is the snake that is, the terror of Christianity. Because inside of Christianity, Leviathan is the dark half of God. There was no evil or devil, that was actually Leviathan. Leviathan was the other half of God. And also, Leviathan can be seen as a serpent inside of the waters, also the ruler of the waters. Even Tiamat created the waters, but Leviathan was the one who swam in it and ruled over it. And Fafnir, on the other hand, with the opposite of water, there is fire and the eternity of fire. And together, and strangely enough, together they are an amazing couple. If you are connected to Fafnir of Leviathan, maybe vice versa, it can also be very much close by. I had a lot of people who are connected to Leviathan and Fafnir together, and I always call them, and they always also call them, the dragon fathers, the father of the dragons, and also amazing protectors. They are not, they don't take any crap, whenever one of you are in danger, they are not going to be love and light together. No, they are going to be very furious. They can be very furious. The dragon fathers are actually there to help you, to aid you, to guide you, but also to push away the ones that are giving you a lot of crap. And I have to admit, my brother, one of my brothers, our spiritual brothers that I met, he had a lot of energy of Leviathan, but also a lot of energy from Fafnir, and I just see a lot of them combined together. Of course, I have a large connection with Tiamat that later on I had a lot of the ways that how I'm living is actually the ways of Quetzalcoatl, the wise dragon god, the dragon god of the air of, and the dragon god of life in itself, the morning star, you can say, the morning star. People say it's Lucifer, but in fact it's Quetzalcoatl, and Quetzalcoatl was a very much worshipped deity that didn't want any sacrifice. The one he said, if you want to give me something of yourself, and that is eventually what I did. I listened to Quetzalcoatl, the Lord of the Air, the one of the star of the morning star, And in fact, that I base my entire path on Quetzalcoatl while I listen to the connection with Tiamat, while my brother, spiritual brother, had the opposite of it and connected with himself with Leviathan and also with Fafnir. Does it mean that we don't have connection with, for example, Fafnir or Of course, you can have all of the connection with all of the dragon gods. Doesn't matter if you are connected to them. Of course, it means that your path is completely going to be based on the ways of, for example, in this case, Leviathan and Fafnir, water and fire together, and they are not. Yeah, that is more of a strict path, the strict path that you can have with Fafnir and Leviathan. But I have to say, Tiamat and Quetzalcoatl are also going to be very much strict, but much more different. Like I said, every path is going to be different, but also the dragon god, it depends on what kind of dragon god is your first dragon god. You can have two dragon gods, but it's always going to be one on top, one who is really guiding you, pulling on the strings with you, because you are his or her child, a direct child that you are going to base your entire path on. Of course, I based my path on Quetzalcoatl, but I have the most connection with Tiamat. And Tiamat, that I learned, has a lot of light, and the light that I have to follow is actually from her. But of course, that doesn't mean that Tiamat is going to be light. Of course not. Tiamat is the goddess of chaos, the one that had a lot of children, the one who created life, the one who didn't take any crap, the giant example of every female being on this world. She is the most beautiful thing that you might ever see, but also the pure pure fury. But that is eventually what every dragon god is. Every dragon god can be beautiful, every dragon god can be wise, and every dragon god can guide you in a way. But also every dragon god can also, whenever you have something, whenever life is treating you bad, whenever people are treating you bad, they are going to see this because they are a part of your dragon eye, and they will always see through your eyes. Whenever people are treating you bad, it might be that your dragon gods will interfere with them. But like I said, it's very, very important to know who your dragon god is. For example, Tiamat is the goddess of chaos, and every time when she is your main goddess, it seems that every time it begins with chaos. Chaos, everything is flipped over. You have to start all over again. That is typically Tiamat. Whenever you are having your awakening, Tiamat is flipping everything over. Forget all you know or think you know. All you need is your instinct, and you are born again eventually whenever she's very close to you. With Quetzalcoatl is a bit different. Whenever he is your closest one, he's going to be much more gentle, but also very much you are going to have a lot more rules inside of your dragon's path. Whenever he is the closest one to you, but you are going to be very, very wise, the wisest of them all. Whenever Quetzalcoatl is your closest, you are going to have the most wisest of them teachers. The teachers of compassion and love, but also the one that doesn't take any crap, Fafnir on itself is fire. His fire is going to, it's also going to let you be reborn outside of the fire like a phoenix. That is completely what Fafnir is going to treat how Fafnir is going to treat his children, like you are going to be reborn inside of his fire once more, and you will feel that fire very much within your soul. Yeah, that is how an awakening with Fafnir typically begins, and that is how you can feel the fire within yourself, dragon fire, and you will feel that. That is something that I've seen with a lot of people on the dragon's path, and of course, Leviathan is, whenever you have an awakening, whenever your Leviathan is closest, it's not going to be the most darkest. It's more like that you will see much more of the light. And also, just like Quetzalcoatl, he is the second one who is the most wisest of all of them. And whenever Leviathan is your closest one, you are going to be very much protected against the darkness, because you are going to be the darkness, and that is what his children are. But not that you will have the nightmares or something like this. No, you will be equalized with the darkness. Whenever Leviathan is going to awaken you, you are going to be equalized with the darkness, and the darkness will not harm you anymore. And that is what the children of Leviathan are, and that is how you have to know a bit more about your dragon gods. It's so much important to know who is the one closest to you. But of course, that comes later on, because I only knew that later, much later inside of my dragon's path. The first thing that you need to know is the first dragon. And the first dragon is the first dragon that is actually the one that is awakened here. To know yourself. To know yourself is much more important actually, and later on we will see what the rest is. First the dragon here, then the dragon by your side, and then the dragon gods. That is in that order you have to know all of your dragons. But yeah, if you have, and that is something that I discovered, a lot of people who have Leviathan by their side mostly automatically have Fafnir, the dragon fathers, and that is so beautiful to call them that way. And whenever Tiamat is close to or Quetzalcoatl together, they are actually much more, working together how it should be, how they work very well together. And that is how I discovered it with a lot of other people. If they have Fafnir, their closest one, Leviathan, is not very far behind. And that is also what I said. Tiamat is my closest one, but I base my entire path on Quetzalcoatl's wisdom. Being a vegan and things like this, and going against hunters, and live this life as in a more respectful way. Because that is what Quetzalcoatl was. And that is also, his teachings are the ones actually that I try to share with people, not on the dragon's path, but in the entire world. So my brothers and sisters, be blessed.